So let's jump into it. The agenda today, we're going to tell you a little bit of background on Threekit. We're going to talk about trends that we're seeing with our customers and in the building materials industry. We'll then hit on some examples and some live demos, and then we'll talk a little bit about the platform. All right, let's jump in. A little bit of background on Threekit. Look, background, our company's raised about $65 million. We are creating and leading this world of what we're calling visual commerce. We got our start in Hollywood. When you see the dents on Iron Man's, protective outfit, or the Titanic sinking, or all of the Marvel films, and Harry Potter, we are the CGI technology behind that. So super high-end 3D. So we got our start there about 15 years ago. And then some of our first customers were actually in the luxury world. So customers like Louis Vuitton and Christian Dior, Ralph Lauren are asking Threekit, how do I deliver a more inspiring customer experience? What does that look like? How do I show my product, show the customization and personalization? And so that's kind of 3-4 years ago. But today, our fastest growing overall segment and our largest segment actually is building materials. And what we're finding is basically companies like you, companies who make anything that goes in, on, or around a building, including furniture, these companies are saying, hey, my product is super configurable, and I want a better way to find and inspire people with my products and show them all the configurations and let buyers and start to build a relationship with end consumers. That's where we're at. Again, we're the world leader in this space. If you think about what we've done, this is all about giving people this immersive, really inspiring, configurable experience. You see here on the left is this door experience. You're able to configure it, but you're also able to explode it. Again, think about doors, not something naturally that a buyer or even an architect is going to have a lot of preference for, but it's something they definitely want to be, they care what it looks like. They care how it feels. They care about the quality. You're going to have that door for probably your whole life. And it's the front entrance of your building. Well, it does matter, and they are made differently. But if you're a door company, how do you explain that? How do you show that? Good quote here from our friend Jonathan Ulrich. He's the CEO of a company called Ulrich Barnes. With Threekit, you can configure and build out a $10, $20, $30, $50, $100,000 building, and you can see it, every single aspect, the windows, the doors, the siding, the roofing. It's a transformative thing for their business. You don't need to necessarily talk to a salesperson. You can go buy this building online. You can configure it completely to your needs. And you might say, hey, it's $10,000 or $20,000 more than I was thinking, but I love it. It's mine. That's an inspiring transformational experience for their company. We're ISO 27001 compliant, 24/7. We have global support. So we're really built for enterprise companies that have really global enterprise needs, covered in Gartner. We're an Inc. 5000, fastest growing company in America for the last 3 years. So really have these chops, and we have the customers to show it. More than 200 category leading companies, including dozens that are in the building materials industry, companies like Kohler, numerous brands inside the Fortune Brands portfolio, Sloan, Crate and Barrel, Jacuzzi, Logitech. And then we also have a number of companies, Steelcase. We have a number of companies as well that are beyond building materials that really, give us other industry knowledge to deliver better experiences. So that's a little bit about us. Let me jump in to see, here are the themes that we're hearing, and I would be very keen to hear if this resonates with you. But here's some themes that we're hearing in the industry that we help, companies solve for. Number one, if you are a building materials manufacturer, 99% chance you're selling a lot through dealers or resellers or distributors. And at the end of the day, it comes down to the salesperson who's sitting at that dealer or that reseller or that distributor. And does that salesperson love selling your product? Because that salesperson has many, many, many options of what to sell. Someone comes in, hey, I'm looking for a door. I'm looking for siding. I'm looking for roofing. I'm looking for, a configurable building, whatever it may be. it comes to that salesperson. Do they love selling your product? If you're just offering them a catalog or some PDFs or a sell sheet, maybe they don't love selling your product. And this is what a lot of our customers end up facing, which is basically to say, hey, I want to make my product, one, easy to navigate, two, inspiring, three, engaging. Look over here on the right, and in a minute, maybe Mark, I'll ask you to give a demo of our experience with Thermatru. Imagine you are a salesperson and someone comes in looking for a patio door. Do you want to show them a sell sheet or a magazine and say, imagine if, you will, or a 2D drawing? Or do you want to show them an interactive 3D experience that gives them the exact real configuration, including an augmented reality, where they can actually see it in space on their door? Make it so the sellers love selling your product at the dealer distributor level. If you're 10x better at that level, hey, my experience is 10x better for your salesperson. That salesperson is going to love you, trust you, and want to sell your product first. You'll have preference at that level, which is where a huge portion of these sales comes from. That's extremely important. I can't hit that enough. Also, I'll hit one other thing. We hear a lot from people in the building materials industry about this thing called the silver tsunami, which is basically that at that dealer distributor level, that 50, 60-year-old salesperson who knows product catalogs inside and out, knows configurators inside and out, that person's aging out of the workforce, getting replaced by someone who's 27, 28, 30. They're never going to learn the configurator. They're never going to learn all the rules and operations. They're never going to learn all the technical specifications. Is your product easy to navigate for that 27-year-old? And someone walks into that dealer, that walks into that store, and that 27-year-old needs to sell something. Do they have the right tools to make it easy for them to sell? Another thing we want to hit on, we hear a lot of our customers in the building material industry say, I want to sell multiple products at once. But often, to sell those multiple products, you might need to, the customer sometimes needs to talk to different teams, different sales teams, or different dealers, different distributors to just buy one coherent project. Over here on the right, we've got an example from Kohler Roburn. They make luxury vanities, right? You got mirrors, faucets, vanities, cabinets. Those are different teams. But you want to give someone an experience, a buyer or an architect or designer, where they can put all these multiple products in one scene coherently and in an inspiring fashion, but also in a way that's totally real and accurate to their configurator, their portfolio, et cetera. That's taking a world where, hey, before this, I couldn't sell multiple products at once unless they wanted to talk to multiple sales teams. But now you can unpackage it, unbundle it, and bring it all into one experience where you can bring in multiple products in one scene, see it, price it, get confidence, and buy. Another one. Here's another one. What if it's midnight and your buyer's like, hey, man, I need to put together a spec. I need to put together a bid for a project. I can't talk to sales right now. I need to be able to do some level of self-service to get confidence that I can deliver this. This is what Sloan does, right? Instead of saying, hey, here's a bunch of line drawings, Mr. Architect. No, you can come in here, build a sync system that's accurate, get the price, get the bill of material. Now, all of a sudden, if you're that architect, you're that person, you can't necessarily buy it now, although you could if in the future if they wanted to. But now all of a sudden, you're much more confident about what you're getting. You can deliver that spec, that bid. You can deliver it in 30 minutes as opposed to, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, talking to multiple sales teams, getting quotes, working through all these details. If you are a building materials manufacturer and you want to build a first-party relationship with buyers or architects, you could do something like this. Hey, go build it online yourself. Get confident with it. Not saying you have to do the transaction, but you can create a highly qualified lead, and maybe someday you could do the transaction. This is, again, transformative for the industry and a new way of thinking. Build a first-party relationship. Build a digital product pipeline, and it could be transformative for your company. And then finally, I think this is the fourth theme. I could probably talk all days about themes we're seeing, but these are the big ones. I see this all the time in the building materials industry. Talk to a lot of presidents and founders, and the thing that always inspires me is when, for these building materials manufacturers, you walk through their factory or your factory, and invariably the employees and the executives are like, they want to stop you and they say, no, no, feel this. We bought a special machine to do this type of coating, or a special machine to do this type of curve. These companies have amassed really, really, really special expertise. You've acquired a special expertise in building and materials and knowledge to make special products. And because it's a special product, you charge a premium. But to the untrained eye, and even to an architect who just wants to get something done, they might pass over all of that amazingness that you poured into your product because you're just not showing it. You're just not giving people a way to navigate the product. In the world of building materials, particularly, you have to find a way to show people without having to read through tons and tons of documentation and specs and quotes and numbers on a document. You have to show them why your product is special, guide them. People don't read today, is always what my CEO is saying. Show them why it's special, why to charge a premium. Visualization, visual configuration is a really important way to do that.
And
Go on,
Mark, just to expand on this slide here and the story you're telling. So Therma-Tru also offers highly configurable doors and uses Threekit to be able to show that level of optionality and configuration within their doors. But having those assets within the Threekit platform, they also were able to utilize it for a trade show or this door highlight page to highlight all the specific features of a single door. So when you're buying into a platform for visualization and configuration, it's not just that one, configurator experience that you're getting, but maybe it's, being able to create photorealistic renders from that 3D model of your door and show it on the side of a house. Or maybe it's creating this animation walkthrough experience highlighting the different features of your door. But having your assets in a platform like Threekit allows you to utilize them in multiple different ways. So whether you're at a trade show, whether it's your dealers in front of your customers, whether it's a customer coming directly to your website to research your product before they go to that showroom to buy something, you want to give the right experience at the right time.
Nice one, Mark. 100%. Mark, I'm going to run through a few, we call these sequences, everyone, and then maybe you'd be open to show a live demo or two, maybe,
Sure.
For one or two of them. Just shout when you're open for it.
Okay.
So this first one is, we call these sequences. This is how the customers actually go to market. This is the special sauce, right? This is, so imagine a world where you're shopping for a vanity. You show up on a page and it's this like inspiration gallery. You're scrolling through and it's like, I'm talking about here on the far left of the screen. Here's a bunch of photorealistic images of luxurious, beautiful vanities for you to scroll through. You find one, you're like, okay, I think that's pretty close to what I want. You click on it. Now, that vanity shows up in a scene. But that scene is highly configurable. You can move products. You can make it day or night. You can see dimensions as it just clicks there. What are the dimensions of all these products? All of it is accurate to your actual catalog, your manufacturing rules, all of it. What gets clicked is real. It's not fake. And that's very, very important. A lot of people in building materials, I've seen they've got like a visual configurator, but it's not actually tied to anything on their back end. And therefore, the customer might be clicking around, get inspired a little bit, but then they talk to a salesperson. Salesperson's like, oh, yeah, no. We got to go through this whole other process over here. Turns out that 2 or 3 of those products that you chose, we don't actually have those in stock. I got something maybe like it. Bad experience. Don't do it. This is actually tied. Now you're in the experience here with Engage. You can configure it, but also you can start from just a blank canvas and start adding parts. Hey, I want this cabinet. I want this door. I want this particular mirror. Again, you can move those things in a scene. that are accurate to physics, accurate to how the actual product works. And then you get this amazing quote and bill of material. It's incredible. Again, if you're a designer or an architect, this is a massive unlock. You can do this in minutes or hours, come up with something for a client. This is huge brand preference for everyone that works on this product and around this product. You can also do it if you're a consumer. Hey, I'm looking for a solution for my bathroom. I'm a luxurious person. I want something amazing, really inspiring for my bathroom. I'll build it and get an idea for it, get a quote. This then goes to the dealer. We can talk about that too. Let's talk about Thermatru. Go through on their website. You can see a bunch of images, virtual renders of all these different patio doors. You can jump in, configure the product, see it in augmented reality. Then again, you credit this quote. The idea here is like, what if you have this amazing experience? What if a consumer or an architect or a designer has this amazing experience? Then all of a sudden they're showing up to a dealer or Home Depot or wherever it may be, and they're saying, I want Thermatru. I had this amazing experience. It looks right for me. I like it because it's an
And
emotional
Mark,
connection. Go on,
I'm
Mark.
happy to show this one
Cool.
for just a couple minute walkthrough. Um, and then are people asking questions, Mark, or are we doing that at the
You
end
know,
or
I don't see any questions. We've got about 20
okay.
people on, but everyone, please jump in. I would love to see some questions. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to show this is Thermatru's Varus collection, and these are very high-end, high consideration, expensive doors that go in expensive homes. So having the same experience as all the other doors out there wasn't something they wanted to do. They wanted to give an elevated experience. They wanted to allow for whether it's the end customer or that dealer showing a customer, they wanted to allow for them to really see all the optionality. So as I go through here and experience different options, I can see the door update in real time to match that. As Mark showed before, there's the view in your space button. So if I'm in my home and I want to see how this looks on the side of my house, get an idea of the actual scale and sizing uh, in context, I can project this through my phone onto the location I'm thinking about putting it in.
And if you're on the phone, like, go just open up your
Yep.
camera and scan that. Like, it's a cool experience. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about
Yep.
building some brand preference. It's pretty cool. You know what I mean? A highly configurable door. I mean, Mark's not going to go through all those options on the right, but that's like
Yep.
you know, there's real configuration options, logic right there built into the business.
Yeah, and
So
I think one of the important things to this is for Thermatru, this is tied into they use Paradigm as their kind of ERP and CRM. So it's tied into that rules and logic that they've built out through that system. So people are only configuring options that are valid. And then when I go request this information and enter in my information, that lead is being sent to that system. So it's not just this dead end page where I like print out a document and bring it in with me to a dealer that I find on my own. Like this is going to the system. It knows where I live. It's going to connect me to the right dealer. Someone's going to reach out to me directly, knowing exactly what I want on my.
at night, I'm an architect and you know, I'm working on a bathroom and for a new restaurant. Again, start with inspire. Is this a upscale restaurant? Is this a restaurant in a strip mall? Is this a men's bathroom or a women's bathroom or a gender neutral bathroom? Those all impact your design, by the way. You go through this guided configuration experience. You need one sink, two sink, three sink, eight sinks. You know, do you need bag hooks if this is the women's restroom? All of these things go in. And ultimately, yes, an architect can navigate this. They can get a spec, they can get a price, they can get a bill of material. And 95% of the time, that architect's going to say, great, I was able to do this now. Make my life easy. I'm ready to buy on this super considered high value thing before that would take weeks and weeks and weeks of talking to multiple sales teams and blah, blah, blah. No, now I get what I want. I get it online in a natural, smooth experience. Mark,
Yeah,
do you want to show this one or do you think we should keep
I
rolling?
was going to answer. the questions that came in.
Okay.
So one of them is, can configuration rules be sourced from a PLM system called by Threekit and exposed to the UI without duplicating the rules and logic in the Threekit platform itself? So typically how we're working with PLM systems is getting 3D data from PLM systems. There's usually some extra setup that goes into making those assets really performant and beautiful looking for this web type experience. Um, the rules themselves, when it comes to those visual rules and configuration, uh, would need to still be set up in Threekit, but there's ways to kind of automate and optimize setting that up. So, you know, sometimes the rules of what can and can't go together might be able to be imported, but the actual like visual spatial rules themselves may need to be added to Threekit. So if we took a closer look at the specific situation, we could give a more detailed answer of what could be reutilized and whatnot. But typically it's never like, hey, just one system and everything automatically imports. The other question that was asked is, could you also enable your sales team to use this tool in home, or is it just for e-commerce? And so we have plenty of customers who have actually only salesperson-led applications. So
Plenty, actually.
it's
Like
on an
many in the
iPad.
building, like I would say most in the building materials industry are thinking about it first as a sales tool, and then, but they put it on their website, and then they're thinking e-commerce. A lot of these products are pretty highly configurable, but yeah, it's like we're very comfortable with however you want to do it. Sorry, Mark. I kind of got
Yeah,
off.
yeah. So it could be the same experience that customers can find on a website or salespeople can use. It could be a salesperson only experience where they're going in and only they have access to it. You could use the same assets and logic to have a consumer facing one that has less options that leads to a lead. And then your salespeople actually have a more extensive list of configurations that they can, go all the way to a quote or submitting a purchase order. So there's many ways to implement this using that data from Threekit. And then another question just came in about the QR code experience. So with augmented reality, what we're doing is Threekit's generating the augmented reality file and then passing it to the phone that scanned it so we can tell if it's an Android or Apple phone. And we're just using the AR quick look software on those phones. So passing it a model for it to view. So the person scans the QR code and then the model will load in augmented reality on their phone and they point their phone at whatever surface they want to see that object on and it'll project onto it. It's also true to size. So Apple and Android are using like LiDAR to detect sizes in the room, and that model is displayed at true scale.
Nice one, Mark. Thank you. Mark, is there anything else you want to demo, or should we I was
Oh, you muted yourself there, Mark, but yeah, you can continue
oh,
on and then
cool.
if we have any more questions, I can.
Um
You went on mute again, Mark. I don't know what's.
wow. I'm not sure how that's happening. Um we talk also, Mark hit it on a little bit of like in general, folks ask around this time, like, how does a project work? And our projects have three parts, which is
And
basically,
Mark, your sharing went away. I don't know.
oh my gosh, I am sharing my screen or no?
You're not right now.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna just talk through it.
Okay.
Sorry, my computer's a little bit wonky at the moment, but our projects have three parts, which is basically there is a content aspect, which is the 3D designs and models. There is an integration part, which is where do you want, we are a composable platform, which means we will integrate where and how you would like us to integrate, whether that's into your configurator, your pricing, your PLM, your e-commerce, your website. We help you think about that. And then there's basically, so it's basically the content, the integrations, and then the UI UX, which is how do you build an experience that really represents how you want your buyers or your customers to navigate that process? Those are the, it's one third, one third, one third to think about the project, but sometimes, obviously, sometimes the content is more, sometimes the integration is more, depending on what the customer needs. Um, and the way to think about our platform is there's the catalog. It's like to think about the platform in two parts is there's the content element and then the catalog element. And we are the platform that brings those areas together um, to create experiences that represent every single permutation of your product in a way that's inspiring so that buyers can navigate it. Cool. Well, I committed to making this webinar fast. I think one of my pet peeves is when you have to sit for an hour and listen. Do we have any other questions? Or Mark, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think that covered it pretty well. If there's any other questions, happy to answer them. Or Mark, if you need me to share any more of the slides, I can. But
Looks like I've just got to thank you. What else do we have? I'll ask it one more time. I heard this thing about there's the minute. This is maybe new to maybe some people already know this, but it's called the Minnesota Ask. And in Minnesota, apparently they ask 3 times. And because, you're like, hey, do you want to come over? Do you want to come over? Do you want to come over? And then they stop asking. So I think this will be my third ask. What other questions or asks do we have from the group?
so I saw another question about, let's see, we have B2B and B2C e-commerce simple products with a variety of accessory components based on how or for what a buyer uses. Might this platform be overkill or for affordable lower end products? And I think that would depend, it it'd be something that we'd want to take a look at and go through the process and understand what the value of those products and selling them together brings to you and the goals overall. But I think one of the things we find is sometimes the complexity of the products isn't necessarily like this product has 50 different options and a lot of rules around those options. Sometimes it's like I have many simple products that when you put them together, there's difficulty in actually visualizing that or helping people understand that. And maybe again, like you mentioned, your options that you offer for those accessories are related to a use case. So it's not an option that someone wants to go through an option list and pick those options. They want to tell you, hey, I want to use this product in this environment. Tell me what I need. So those are things that we're able to help with as a platform with the visualization along with the rules and logic and delivering that visual experience. But yeah, it's hard to answer if it's overkill or not without getting into the details.
The latter is more what they're dealing with, is what the person seems to be saying. Yeah, it's like kind of like what Mark said about California closets. Those are about as simple a product as come, right? It's like rods and shelving.
Shelves.
That's not complicated, but it gets real complicated when you gotta put them in a space together and form a solution.
So yeah, high fidelity renderings is our virtual photographer offering. So it is a piece of the platform which has pricing and stuff associated with it, which we're happy to talk you through as well. And we can utilize kind of the same base models and materials with some slight augmentation to it and utilize that for both real-time 3D as well as those high fidelity visualizations pre-rendered. The advantage, I think, is it's still configurable. So even if you're making high quality renders, it can be based off that same rules and logic and configuration as the 3D examples we showed you.
Yeah, that was probably my mistake. We do 3D, 2D, augmented reality. We have some amazing AI tools as well. We also do space planning. So there's a lot there's a lot in there, and the power of the platform is you can switch between those. You can choose which ones you want to do. Hey, I want to do renderings. Okay. I want to do interactive 3D. Okay. Augmented reality. Okay. You know what I mean? It's built in one platform, which no one else is able to do.
Another question came in around what's the typical time range to expect when implementing something like this? So something, more simple with less integrations, I'd say kind of the minimum time frame you're looking at is in the 3-month range. And then some of our projects last a year or slightly more. What typically is the biggest driving factors of the length of the project is uh, if you have all the assets and rules and data ready to go at the start of the project, that can make things run faster. The more complex and larger number of integrations you have, as well as different teams you have that need to be involved in those integrations, can make things longer. And a lot of what we do is around artwork and subjectivity. So, when we're designing a UI and then when we're creating the materials and models and showing them in a lighting scene, there's a back and forth review process. So if you're able to get dedicated team members to be responsive during that project, that can speed up timelines as well. So depending on the number of products, number of integrations, and where your data is starting out at, we've gotten things live in around 3 months, and other ones have taken up to a year, possibly more.
Great questions. Um, would like to arrange an exploratory call Zoom. Is that your process? That's exactly our process. Yeah. I'll send an email right after this call, and just reply, and we'll set up a call. I think typically how we do it, we'll do a call. We'll talk a little bit about, what we're doing. You talk about your business. We'll talk about the findings that we have in your industry. Um, and then typically we do something called an innovation session where we figure out more about your business, talk about your customer experience, and then from there we come back to you with a little bit of a recommendation of rough order of magnitude of how we think it should work, how to build this experience. That's typically how it works. So you have our email, our Zoom, and I'll send one right out after this call. Cool. Well, everyone. Well, Mark, thank you. Everyone, thanks for
Thank
joining.
you, Mark.
I'll send a bunch of examples and demos after the call, but thanks for joining and looking forward to the opportunity. Okay.
Have a
Adios.
good day.
Thank you. Bye.